13th August 2018. My name is Omar Wali and welcome to the Fatu Network News Review. Today, Monday, I'm in the studios here with Dr. Baba Gale Jallo, the Executive Secretary of TRRC. I'll be discussing with him the appointment of Alhaji Barrow. The former Secretary General and the head of the Civil Service, Mamadou Sabal, is challenging the appointment of Alhaji Barrow into the commission. And I will also have other people as well. Sabal will join me later in the studios, and I'll have other people too will call via Skype. But before that, I will start with the standard. Kande downplays GDC resignation. For the first time since the resignation from his party, led by the deputy leader Yusuf Jaite, the Gambia Democratic Congress leader Mama Kande has commented on the development, saying the party is intact despite the resignations. You may remember the deputy party leader Yusuf Jaite and several other people resigned from the party, and they said they need a leader, not a boss. And they said they are going to form a new political party. But in his reaction, Kande said, contrary to what those people left believe, the GDC will not fall apart, even if he, Mama Kande himself, leave the party. Kande said even if he leaves the Gambia Democratic Congress, the party will not fall. 63 young armed robbers arrested. That is the Gambia Police Force Anti-Crime Unit recently arrested 63 teenagers in the Greater Banjul area for armed robbery. According to ASP for the Conta, the police public relations officer said the 63 teenagers allegedly stole flat TV screens, smartphones, and sewing machines, among other valuable materials within the Greater Banjul area. And Jane Commission extended to November. According to the standard, the Commission of Inquiry probing into the financial dealings of the former President Jammeh has been extended to November 30th November 2018 to wrap up the proceedings, reliable sources told the Standard newspaper. And the OIC summit, Saudi guarantees the full support. According to the Standard, a high-level technical meeting between the delegation from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the government of the Gambia emerged with the news of 100% backing to the Gambia effort in hosting the successful and memorable organization of the Islamic Conference Summit to be held in Gambia in 2019. The Gambia Armed Forces fires 3 soldiers. That is the Standard Point newspaper, saying that the Gambia Armed Forces fired 3 soldiers. They were arrested, they were nabbed with drugs, and they now handed over to the Drug Law Enforcement Agency. They also reporting that police arrest 2 escaped prisoners. There was a mass prisoner escape at Old Joseon Prison, but the Point is reporting that 2 more people have been rearrested. And the Navy rescued 79 people, 7 other people drowned. According to the immigration spokesperson, they have rescued 79 intended or would-be migrants, but 7 of them reportedly drowned in the early hours of Friday morning. And the government also calls for peace between Saudi Arabia and Canada. There has been a diplomatic rift between the 2 countries. And the Fourier newspaper also is reporting the same story, the intended backway migrants intercepted, and the nurses complain of unpaid transport allowances. And the Voice newspaper also is reporting similar stories that Gambians in Brazil calls on the government to appoint a representative. According to the Gambians in Brazil, they said they did not have a consular officer, and it is difficult for them to access the Gambian ambassador to the United States, Dauda Fadera. Enough is enough, UDP officials tells Imam Fati. Imam Fati made a remark at the burial of the former President Jammeh's mother's burial in Bujinga, where he said, Rollins did worse things, but he is still in Ghana, and Jammeh still lives in exile. The TV stations need a sign language, says MP, that is Honorable Ndeye Yasin Seka, a parliamentarian, has called for sign language to be introduced at the Gambia's television station, and the provision of a RAM and reels on all public buildings for people living with disabilities. Those are the ones I have for you for the local newspapers. I will now turn to my guest, Mr. Baba Gale, welcome.
Thank you, Omar.
The Executive Secretary of TRRC. when the appointment of Alhaji Barrow as the head of research and investigation was made, it sparked a debate, and the former Secretary General, head of the Civil Service, and the former Presidential Affairs Minister Mamadou Sabali challenged the appointment of Alhaji Barrow into TRRC. So I'm here in the studios with Dr. Babagale Jallo to discuss that appointment. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you.
The appointment of Alhaji Barrow into TRRC as the head of research and investigation has generated a debate in this country. Can you tell us what made him qualify to be in that position?
Good, thank you. Well, let me first start by saying that I am not here to respond to Mamadou Sabali or to anyone. I'm here to clarify for the Gambian media and the Gambian public about questions they might have. So I'm not responding to any particular individual here. Now, that said, when we issued the calls for applications, Alhaji Barrow was one of those who applied, and he applied, several others applied, and we interviewed a number of very qualified people. At the end of the day, the interview panel concluded that he was the most qualified to do the job for which we interviewed, and so we offered him the position and he accepted. That's how it worked.
Okay, but the argument here is they said he was involved in a December 30th, he took up arms against the government of the former President Jammeh. So his appointment into that place might undermine the credibility of the commission.
Well, we didn't see it like that. I mean, if we thought that his appointment will undermine the credibility of the commission, we wouldn't appoint him. On the contrary, we think that, you know, his appointment signifies our very, very serious intention to follow, you know, to make sure that the victims of Yahya Jammeh's, you know, whatever history he had, you know, get justice. We know that Alhaji Barrow has the background in military intelligence that would help to investigate a lot of the cases that otherwise might not be properly investigated. So that's not our opinion. We feel on the contrary that his appointment you know, promotes or increases the credibility of the commission.
Now, what will be the fate of those who were involved in foiling that December 30th attack, people like Musa Savage? Obviously, he has an opinion. Already, those were the people, and some people died in that process. Mm-hmm. Will those people get a fair treatment or judgment, whatever you call it? Because Njaga lost his life, Alhaji Sane, and Jajanyas. Mm-hmm. And if that Musa Savage should appear before that thing, and Alhaji was the one who investigated, what do you think of that?
Well, first of all, let's say that every investigation has the possibility of recuse. For example, if somebody is investigating or is involved in a commission of inquiry and they are perceived to have a conflict of interest in a particular case, they could be recused from that case. So in this case, when the material time comes and that case comes up and we perceive a conflict of interest, then he could be recused. But what I want to point out is that the December 38th is just one of thousands of cases that we need to investigate, and it has, you know, little to do with the other systemic and cultural investigations that are going to happen to determine what enabled the emergence of dictatorship in this country. So if there is a conflict of interest at that point, Alhaji Barrow will be recused from the case. And also throughout the process, remember, this is not a single man thing. He's not just going to do whatever he wants. There will be very strong oversight over the research and investigation process.
To recuse or not to recuse, to avoid all that, why not you go for an independent person who was not involved in things like taking up arms against the government?
Are not looking, that is not what we are judging. We are judging about who is the best person to do this job, technically, morally, you know, intellectually. But and we believe that Alhaji Barrow you know, is the person that can do the job.
But if people question that right person now, what is going to be the fate of the commission?
If 100% Gambians, if all Gambians said we don't want him, yes. But people have opinion. More people are supporting his appointment than are opposing his appointment. We cannot please everybody. So we just do what we feel is right for the country and for the commission and go ahead. People have a right to say whatever they want to say, express their opinions, but that will not make us change a decision that we believe is the right decision for our work and for the country.
Now, when the Faraba incident happened, you threatened to leave the TRRC. Now, somebody came in and it has raised a lot of questions. Why not you do the same thing and said, for the interest of the integrity and the interest of the commission, you step aside. Let us have somebody who has a clean record.
Because I don't believe that his appointment in any way kind of masks the integrity of the commission. Of course, there are critics. That is not, I mean, we can't take the criticisms of a few people to define, you know, what constitutes credibility of a commission or not. If all Gambians said we don't want Alhaji Barrow, or the majority of Gambians said we don't want Alhaji Barrow, then that is cause for us to reconsider our decision. But you have a minority of people, significant as their opinions are. I'm not downplaying the opinion of a single person. Every single opinion is important. But that is not enough reason for us to change a decision that we believe in the final analysis is in the best interest of the country, in the best interest of the commission.
So if 50% of people come tomorrow and said, we don't want Alhaji Barrow in this place, this person automatically will ask him to leave?
If 51%.
51%.
If the majority of Gambians said that, yes. But as it is now, you know very well that those who support Alhaji Barrow's appointment are more than those who oppose Alhaji Barrow's appointment, from the figures that we are seeing. So what?
Yeah, so when other people were like Musu at the university, nobody raised questions.
Absolutely.
So, but this one, don't you think you should take a look back and look at the decisions in bringing people? Because even those who are in support who are saying that this appointment really is not the right thing. What will you tell to those people?
Well, I'm saying that they entrusted us with a responsibility to do the right thing. They did not entrust us with a responsibility to please them. We look at what we believe is right for the commission that will help us do the work. This is very complicated and difficult work. That will help us do the work right. That will help us move this country forward. And we do that. We are not going to try to please anybody. You know, if we are pleasing people, we please them by doing the right thing. If the right thing we do pleases people, alhamdulillah. If the right thing we do doesn't please people, we are sorry. We just have to do what we believe is right. It's not easy to be criticized like from left, right, and center. You know, you can imagine. But that's not going to make us change a decision just because we want to please people. You change the decision, other people are aggrieved because there are always two sides to a debate. So we've made this decision and we are not going to change. We think Alhaji Barrow, in our humble and subjective opinion, is the right person for this job. We dare history to prove us wrong. But otherwise, we can't go back on it.
I understand that he handed over a petition to you today, Mamadou Sabally.
Yes.
So what next after?
Well, I will read the petition and I will discuss with my colleagues. If I find it necessary to respond to the petition, I will. If I don't find it necessary to respond to the petition, I won't. I mean, I respect Mamadou Sabally's opinion, but his opinion is not going to determine the way that we do our work. So, I mean, I've known Mamadou Sabally for a long time. I've seen what he's written in the papers. I have no problem with that. It's his opinion. Its opinion and fact are two different things. And people forget that sometimes, you know, you express your opinion and you believe that your opinion is the fact. So I am going to look at his opinion and I'm going to discuss it with my colleagues. If we feel it is necessary to respond, we respond. If we feel it's not necessary to respond, we simply don't respond.
Finally, I know you have a very tight schedule. What will be your final message?
Well, my final message is that you know, we are not here to please anyone. We are here to do the job as we deem fit. You know, we can't anticipate what people will think. You know, we can say, okay, if we do this, some people might say this, or some people might say that. But we are here to do the job right, and we will do what we feel is right unless and until that is contrary to the provisions of the TRRC Act or the laws of the Gambia. We don't want to do and we are not going to do anything criminal. We don't want to do and we are not going to do anything that is contrary to the TRRC Act. Everything we do in this commission is done in a very transparent manner, and it is done in the interest of the TRRC and in the interest of the Gambian people finally. And so I'm sorry if people are not happy, but that's just what we have to live with for now until history proves us wrong. All right.
Thank you so much, Dr. Baba
You're welcome.
Galle.
You're welcome.
That is Dr. Baba Galle Jallow, the Executive Secretary of TRRC. He's made some clarifications on the appointment of Alhaji Barrow. Some people challenge that thing. So today also we had an interview with President Barrow, And yeah, we had interview with President Barrow, and the Lamin Sanyang of reporter asked him questions ranging from the Brussels and many other things. So we take a short kind of listen to that clip, and when we come back, we continue with the show.
Thank you.
The health sector. There have been reports that medicines are lacking in the hospitals. I personally went to the RVTH all the time. Even the paracetamol was not available at the RVTH. So, what is your government?
You know very well. We inherit a very, very bad system. We inherit a broken system. It will take us time to correct that broken system. And in our reform process, we want to make sure we build these institutions. And also, let us have the infrastructure also in place. That's why when I was in Turkey, we appealed to the Turkish government to help us with the RVA. It is the most important hospital today in the country, referral hospital. So that we can build the infrastructure. And also we put a system in place. But one thing I can tell you, there is nowhere where you have medication free, anywhere in the world, just in the Gambia. The countries that have succeeded, that is not their system. So we have to look at how people succeed in this world. We have to adopt such things. Good systems to make sure we run our health sector. Because it's continuity, something that is not sustainable. You have to look at it and be innovative, change your system. To make sure you put a system in place that will continue, that can be sustainable. We are thinking in that line. But this, we need our technicians, not our technicians alone. We even need other people outside to help so that we get a very good system in place.
I think it has gone beyond the issue of accessibility or affordability. It's about availability also. Because medicines are lacking generally in most of the hospitals across the country. That's the issue. So
that's what I'm telling you. You don't have medicine free anywhere in the world. Go to Senegal here. Other countries, even in England, in America. The medical sector is expensive. When you want to go to operation in America, you pay up to $6,000. Yeah, it's free. But we have to look at the system. It's the system that we have to correct.
Well, that is the interview with President Adama Barrow with our reporter Lamin Sanyang today at the State House in Banjul. Earlier on, I had Dr. Baba Gala Jallo here on the appointment of Alaji Barrow, but it was not possible for me to have Dr. Baba Gala Jallo and Mamadou Sabali on the same table. So I had that problem, but now I'll be joined in the studios by Mamadou Sabali. I will also have discussion with him on the same subject. So like I said, I wish, okay, I have somebody on the line now. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well, Omar. Thank you for inviting me on your great program.
Thank you so much. I'm sure you're aware of the appointment of, but I can't see your face, appointment of Alaji Barrow into the committee TRRC as the head of research and investigation.
Yes, I'm aware of it, and I caught parts of your interview with Dr. Jallo.
Okay.
I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have for me regarding that.
Okay. What is your reaction to the appointment? Because people like Mamadou Sabali, he's here in the studios with me here, is opposing the appointment, and several other Gambians also saying he took up arms against the former government and he cannot be in that commission. What is your reaction?
Well, first of all, I have very high regard for the commissioners, especially the chairman, who I happen to know personally, and I know him to be a person of impeccable intellect and full of integrity and honesty, and he's also very hardworking. So, and I have similar views of the rest of the commissioners, and I value the kind of effort and due process and meticulousness they are bringing to the hiring process, and then setting up the whole commission itself. So the people that are in charge are good, honorable people, and the chairman especially is a very, very focused person, and I applaud them for doing a good job generally, and then particularly for this appointment. I know Mr. Barrow also, and I also know him to be an incredibly brilliant intelligence professional who has a lot of experience and who has the right background for the kind of work and investigation that the commission is going to need to prepare them to get testimony from victims. So I fully support the appointment, and I consider it a great appointment.
Yeah, but the question here is, they said he was a victim, if you like. He took up arms against the government, so he cannot investigate that government, because what will be the fate of the soldiers who foiled that December 30th? He lost some comrades, and if those people who were involved appeared before that commission, what do you think will be their fate? That's what the question. That's the question many people are asking.
Okay. First of all, my definition of a victim would include the entirety of the whole country. I believe every single Gambian during the 22 years that Yahya Jammeh was in charge was either a direct victim or an indirect victim, and then if the person has any conscience, he would consider himself a total victim, because one does not have to be affected to be a victim directly. But if you know somebody who is a victim, then you are a victim. So I don't think the proposition that he is a victim and therefore cannot do office work with regards to gathering evidence and then having people's stories being heard, I think it's a nonsensical argument. We are all victims, and to the extent that he had resorted to the application of force to address the situation in the Gambia, here is what I will say to that.
Right.
Yahya Jammeh ran an absolute tyranny. He slaughtered people right there. He picked up imams from their homes and then locked them up. He took lactating mothers and then took their babies from them and then took them to prison. He was a terrible, evil person, and everybody has to make a judgment. If you have a situation like that, what are you going to do about it? I consider it self-defense when people who live their settled lives here in the United States and Europe decide to go and address an existential threat that we faced as a country. So they are heroes. And I think if they run for office and then they happen to get a nomination of my party, I'll be in line to vote for them. These are good people.
Okay.
And I think a grateful nation will never forget what they have done. So those who call them anything other than heroes, they can say, I am not going to apply force to address an existential threat. But the idea that another citizen cannot consider that, I consider them to have acted in my best interest in wanting to do what was right. So he should be there, and he is a hero, and every single one of them are heroes. And I say that unequivocally. I understand that that is not the position of every Gambian. That's fine. I respect that. Yeah. What I do not respect is the idea that you will call them anything other than selfless citizens who stood up for the country when it mattered. Yeah. You know, Mamadou Sabally was an appendage of a tyranny. What does his voice count for? His voice doesn't count for anything as far as I'm concerned. Zero.
Thank you so much. Yes. Carry on.
Yes, I'm right here.
Okay, you said you Mamadou Sabally?
He's talking about me. I'd like to respond to him while he's so
I
can tell him some home truths into his face, right?
Okay, I have Mamadou Sabally here. I will have one respond to you once before you leave.
If you think my voice doesn't count, then why are you here talking about an issue I've raised? You know, you started your arguments well, but you can see you are actually biased, just like the Alaji Barrow that you are defending. Whether he's a hero or not is not the question here. The fact is, he's not fit and proper to investigate a government that he took up arms against illegally, an action that was condemned by all political parties in this country and the international community, including governments that hated that government.
Okay, Mr. Barrow, like what is saying that your party, the United Democratic Party, came out and condemned
it's on the record.
The attack, December 30th attack in totality.
Sure.
So now, what will be your response to Sabally before you leave?
sure, my party came and then they issued a statement,
Right.
a very carefully statement that validated their position as a registered political party. I am speaking as a citizen.
In a capacity, okay.
You are switching roles. At some point, you are speaking for your party.
Saba, let him finish.
No, I am not. I am speaking as a citizen.
And you know that lawyer Usainu Dabo will never endorse an illegal attempt to take over a government.
Saba, let him finish, please.
Let me finish.
You may continue, Karamba, please.
Okay. All I am saying is, sure, the United Democratic Party, like all of the other registered political parties, issued communiques expressing their considered opinion. I have no problems with that. I am speaking as a citizen, an ordinary citizen.
A biased citizen.
Sabali, you will have your time.
No, he was addressing me, so he brought me into this, so I have to respond. I want him to hear me whilst I'm still here.
Okay.
Okay, but let me just finish.
Sabal, can you finish, please?
Let me speak,
okay, continue, please.
Moderator. Okay, what I am saying is that people had choices.
Yeah.
Just as Mamadou Sabul had a choice to support the regime. Not only to support the regime, to applaud the regime. Not only to applaud the regime, but then to go after the opponents of the regime. That's what he did.
Just like you went after me and you are still after me. You personally are fair. You are fair game for me. So you can.
Let me explain. Let me finish.
Yes, finish, please.
Do not interrupt me. Let me just finish. You'll have your chance.
Right.
He did that. That is his right as a citizen. I'm not respecting him, but I'm not.
Do I need your respect?
Sabal, can you please?
No, he's talking to me. I respond because after he will run away like the coward that he is, I want to talk to him while he's still here.
Yes, sir. Sabal, please just give.
You have to let me finish.
Okay, Sabal, let him finish and you respond. You have another time.
He did that.
Yes, you can continue, please.
In a free society, everybody gets to make choices. These good people left their settled lives here, their wives and their children. They got on aeroplanes. They went over there to address an existential threat. That's what they did. And they did it for me, not only for themselves. That is a qualitative difference I make.
Right.
So the idea that somehow, in that application of force, they should be precluded from national life in a free Gambia that they contributed in freeing is ridiculous. I think that it is perfectly okay for these guys to serve in any capacity they choose. It's their country and they liberated it.
Thank you so much.
Went and they put their lives on the line to free it from a tyrant who was slaughtering people while Mamadou Sabali was getting in the SUV to go to work. That's what happened. So
whilst I was there saving lives, and that is documented and attested to by living witnesses. You are
thank you so much for your time.
Speaking for the truth.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Toure.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, the discussion here is the appointment of Alaji Barrow into the Commission of TRRC as the head of research and investigation. Sabal is here. He is challenging that appointment. Nelson Mandela came out of prison, he became president. Kwame Nkrumah and J.J. Rollins came out of prison, become president. Olusegun Obasanjo came out of prison, become president. Why are you so irate under the color that somebody who took up arms against the government has been appointed and you're making, you said you are not...
If I may take off from when you dropped it, Nelson Mandela came out of prison, became president, not chief justice.
Right.
The other presidents, Usainu Dabo, one of the reasons he said why he would not take a judicial appointment after the impasse was because he felt that he could not be independent. I love that guy. Very independent-minded, very honest and sincere. This Karamba and his other surrogates who pretend to be loyalties of Usainu Dabo need to clean their hearts. They should learn from their leader. All those leaders cannot be in a judicial position in the same way this Alaji Barrow cannot and should never be in a judicial or quasi-judicial position. Look, this whole transition we are talking about, it's about justice. The catchphrase, if you like, is transitional justice. And as Allah rightly says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu qawwamina bil qist shuhada'a lillahi walau ala anfusikum awil walidaini wal aqrabin. He said we should stand firm for justice, witnesses for Allah, even if it is against us and our close relatives. When it comes to justice, if you are going to come to a judicial position or quasi-judicial role, your hands should be clean. You should not be a conflicted person. This is my basic argument. Karamba was saying, wrongly, falsely accusing me, as they have been done for years without being able to make a dent in my reputation, that I said these people should not have a life in New Gambia. I never said that. That's a lie. What I say about Alhaji Barrow, and I insist on that to the end of time, that Alhaji Barrow may have a role in any other institution, but not any institution that has to do with justice, not in any role that has to investigate into the alleged excesses of the former regime. It has nothing to do with whether he's a hero or not. I could not care less.
Okay.
But he is not fit and proper to investigate a regime against whom he took up arms to annihilate.
This is what I discussed with Baba Gale before you came. I could not put two of you on the same table because
Baba ran away. Just call a spade a spade. I'm very disappointed, actually.
Yeah, okay.
He
now,
ran away.
Is it because...
I'm very much disappointed. Baba should have sat down here as a man and talked to me face to face. I'm his younger brother.
Yes. Now, is it because the statement or the interview he granted with the Voice newspaper that he wouldn't be mine if they beheaded you?
Yeah.
That's why you are so...
That is just one of the reasons.
Okay.
The principal reason is somebody who took up arms to fight a government, to illegally overthrow an elected government, and in that process lives were lost. To bring that person to investigate the past wrongs, alleged wrongs of that dispensation is unconscionable. And I heard Baba Gale Jallow in his interview saying, yes, there are other cases beside the December 30th. I'm not even talking about December 30th. Alhaji Barrow is not qualified to investigate any case, whether it's December 30th or not, that has to do with the past government. That is my premise. So Baba Gale is actually wrong. And I heard Baba say one thing also, and I'm very much disappointed. He said, this guy can recuse himself in cases where there is conflict of interest.
I discovered.
I mean, look, so we have to put him aside, hire somebody else to pay. We're making that mistake in another commission. I don't like to talk about that commission because I'm a witness before it. We're making that mistake at a high cost to the state, both in terms of pecuniary resources and also the perception of impartiality. We're making that costly mistake. Baba Gale Jallow, of all people, wants us to repeat that mistake because he has made a mistake that he doesn't want to correct. Now, this is too expensive, and I'm speaking for the victims, and I qualify as a victim. Let us do the right thing in the interest of the victims. This has nothing to do with politics. The victims deserve a clear, impeccable platform where, after all this investigation, any normal, rational human being can say the process was free and fair. Right now, the process is tainted, and if we continue like this, any outcome from the TRRC will be thrown away from any respectable platform.
His argument here is that you have right to your opinion.
Yes.
You submitted a petition.
Yes.
But he said, if it is maybe 51% of the gunmen who said they don't want...
Yes.
But
where is Baba Gale Jallow going to get the resources to do that poll? Actually, he made a false statement here that the majority of the Gambians support Alhaji Barrow's appointment. Baba Gale Jallow, of all people, should not have made such a cheap statement here because he knows he doesn't have any figures to back it. I'm pleading to Baba Gale. He's my brother. I have a lot of respect for him. I still have a lot of respect for him. Let him be careful about how he defends this case. No human being is perfect. I believe he has made a mistake. Let him go back and do some soul searching and come to us with a dignified response rather than making claims that he cannot substantiate.
Is it because you fear that if you appear before that TRRC...
I'm just saying,
in the event that Mamadou Sabal appeared before that TRRC, you fear that you might fall into trap?
No, it's not that. Me, I'm not afraid of appearing anywhere. I'm already appearing before a commission. Have you ever seen me look sad or disturbed about it? I appeared before Yaya Jammeh's judges here. Did you ever see any sign of worry or concern on me? My conscience is clear. I have nothing to fear. Having said that, you made an allusion to a statement that Alhaji Barrow made this year, January. Yes. He said, I would not mind if Yaya Jammeh beheaded Mamadou Sabally. Now, a lot of bad statements have been made against me by people in the past regime during the struggle, and I have forgiven. But how can Alhaji Barrow come during this very delicate transition and make a public statement that he would be glad if I am beheaded? I'm not afraid of him. I'm not afraid of Yaya Jammeh.
No,
Talk less of him. No, let me land on this. He said that statement. It's not just the statement. It's the fact that that statement betrays his vile, infested mindset that this guy is full of hatred, full of the desire to revenge. How can that person be an independent person in investigating the wrongs of the past?
Mamadou Sabally, you said that person, what all his involvement, and so what someone somewhere may also said, you stood or you were in front of a television camera,
Yes, yes.
you insulted a whole tribe.
I never insulted any tribe.
You made a derogatory remark about it.
I never insulted any
now
tribe.
tell me what did, okay, you
A
made that
statement
okay,
was handwritten by Yaya Jammeh. I read it as SG, just like any other SG read Yaya Jammeh's statements. I apologized for this, in spite of the fact that it was not my statement. I apologized not once, not twice.
Yes.
Because I raised this issue, they want to bring back that dirt. Nobody can dirty me in the minds of the Mandinkas. I'm a Mandinka, and the real Mandinkas know that I'm a Mandinka, and they value and love me. And if they feel, or those who feel offended about that, they have forgiven me. Having said that, you're bringing that issue. No, I have to finish this.
Yeah,
you're bringing that issue on this platform, Omar Wali, is actually null and void, because I am not the one appointed at the TRRC. And I would never, ever accept any role in a judicial or quasi-judicial institution in this new Gambia. I am not qualified. Alaji Barrow is not qualified. Lawyer Dabo himself, His Excellency, the Vice President, set up an issue that he would not accept a judicial appointment because he feels that he may not be seen to be impartial.
Yes, the reason why I bring that statement here, because they said words once spoken never die.
Yes.
That
bring
statement,
it in the right context.
No, right.
I'm not the one appointed.
It's the same thing.
I am not the one appointed on Wali.
I understand that. But because, okay, hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, who is this, please?
This is Banka.
Okay, Banka, I'm here in the studios with Mamadou Sabal. I'm sure you are following.
Yes.
You know the appointment of Alaji Barrow has generated a lot of debate in this country.
Right.
And I had Dr. Baba here, and I had Karamba, and Sabal is also here.
Yeah.
So I understand. Okay, okay, just go to the point straight, because I have very little time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Did you ask a question, or you
okay, what is your reaction to the appointment? Because I know you are involved in this December 30th. Sabal's argument here is somebody who took up arms against the government cannot investigate that government, and many people are supporting him that, but Baba Gale is saying that is not the case. In the event that that case come up, they will recuse himself. So what is your stand as far as this discussion is concerned here?
Now, look, with all due respect to Sabali, let me disclosure. I've met Sabali briefly during my trip in the Gambia, and I've come to have a soft spot for him.
Yes.
But with all due respect to him, though, I think he got this one totally wrong. And here's why. I think that some reasons are being advanced that really have nothing to do with the actual issue at hand. If Sabali has issues that maybe, because apparently there was some news article that Alaji Barrow at some point said something about him, he should be beheaded, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I can understand why he will be concerned about an Alaji Barrow putting together, quote unquote, a deposition or report or whatever from him, because that's what Alaji Barrow is doing. He's literally not going to be prosecuting anybody. These are not part of his job responsibilities. Yeah. All he's doing is gathering the reports, the facts. If we, say Mohamed Sabali comes in, unless I get the whole idea wrong of what he's supposed to be doing. But for what we understand, Alaji is just going to be putting together the information and presenting it to the right authorities who will look at it and do whatever they need to do with the report. So now, if Sabali is concerned about what Alaji will do to him in any form, shape, or fashion, I think that concern is a little misplaced. And it's understandable, because if Alaji made those statements about him, obviously for him, you'll be sitting there going, wait a minute, this is the same guy that who is supposed to be, putting together something from me. What is going to happen to that report? That is a legitimate concern. But I think that based on what we know about what Alaji is actually going to be doing, Mohamed Sabali can be assured that he has nothing to worry about, because Alaji literally cannot do anything to his report that he didn't say or didn't provide. And Alaji cannot turn around, cannot prosecute him for anything. And Alaji does not have any powers legal powers to prosecute him for anything. That's not part of his job responsibility. and that's not what he was going to be doing. The argument that I'm hearing also...
Banker, let me cut you short there.
Can I respond?
No,
okay.
One more quick point. One more quick point. One more quick point. I'm hearing, stuff about his participation in the December 30th.
Right.
That he participated in December 30th, and that so he cannot investigate or the same government. That is also very, very seriously misplaced, because there is ample historical evidence for these kind of situations from way back when. I mean, in Germany, the Nuremberg trials, I mean, the generals who investigated, put that whole thing together, were actually generals who fought against the very generals that they were investigating. That's number one. Number two, when you go to South Africa, the most recent one, obviously, South Africa, you will see that the very people, Desmond Tutu and the rest, were actual direct victims of the white South African government. And number three, and the most recent one, if I might add, Baba Galle himself, who is the head of this commission. And that's why I'm still wondering why. No, hold on. Let me just land, and I'll let you finish, and I'll let you come in. Baba Galle himself is a direct victim of Yahya Jammeh. People keep forgetting that. But does anybody think Baba Galle's role in this thing is compromised because of that? I don't think so, and I do believe that even Mohamed Sabali himself doesn't think so. Now, if he has personal issues against Barrow,
okay, Bank, I will give you a few seconds. I will allow you to.
The argument is not strong at all. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, you want to respond?
I want to respond. I want to say thank you to Banka for being man enough to face me and debate with me, unlike my brother Baba Galle. Really, I'm disappointed, Omar, I have to say this. Baba is somebody I have so much respect for. He can't just run away from this kind of debate.
Okay.
Banka, I just want to assure you, my concerns about Alhaji Barrow, I used the example of what he said about me, not because I'm afraid of any personal threats of me currently or at the forthcoming commission. It betrays a mindset of revenge, and you cannot have that kind of person in a judicial or quasi-judicial position. That's my point. And I want to clarify once again. I am not saying Alhaji Barrow should not get a job in the Gambia. I just said he cannot play a role in investigating those people whom he was fighting. It's just not proper. And your examples about Nuremberg and South Africa, if other countries do things that were wrong, does that mean we should do it? Remember, we are a very small, tiny country. We are all interrelated one way or another. And my argument, Banka, for Allah's sake, is in favor of the victims, to make sure. How many Gambians do we have 10 times more qualified than Alhaji Barrow who can play this role? Why should we, Alhaji Barrow or Kuwayatina, we compromise a whole setup and give this commission, of which the intention I believe is so noble, you taint it just because you want to give a few dollars to somebody?
Banka,
let's think about the victims. It's not about me.
Banka, before you come in there, don't you, what do you make of his argument that there are people, he doesn't have a problem, this man getting a job in this country, but the position given to him is not the right place for him? What do you make of that?
Well, you see, look, let me put it. Yesterday, I said it during our radio program on Fatu Radio.
Right.
I said this, that if Alhaji can put his attitude in check, and if Alhaji can put his just hold on.
Right.
If Alhaji can put his attitude in check, if Alhaji can put whatever issues he has with anybody, Sabali or anybody, in check, and if Alhaji can make sure that there is no arrogance involved on his part in the process, he can do the best job that anybody can imagine. Because you have to understand one thing, you both, that there is no more qualified Gambian. I would say that, and arguably, there is no more qualified Gambian out there to do this job than Alhaji Barrow. I will tell you that right now, on paper.
He's qualified, but the question has been read.
Let me finish. He can deliver on this job very, very, very well. All he needs to do is to put his emotions, if there's any arrogance or anything for that matter, put it all aside and make sure he does the job, and he can do it. Mohamed Sabali has nothing to worry about. As far as Alhaji cooking up a story about him, because that's not he will not do that for sure. And Mohamed Sabali can be rest assured that Alhaji has no powers to prosecute him or to do anything that will compromise the process as far as making sure that his statements or whatever he wants to be presented to the right authorities is presented. He has nothing to worry about that. Absolutely. Their impersonal interactions, how they deal with each other, for me, that's where I have a little concern. And I am hoping, yesterday I did issue that warning to Alhaji Barrow that he needs to make sure that no matter how he feels about Mohamed Sabali, that he treats him with the utmost respect that every Gambian deserves, make sure he's done it professionally, and make sure that he treats everybody with the kind of integrity, and make sure the process is not compromised in that regard. Now, but as far as reports and how it's put together, I'm telling you, Momodu Sabal has nothing to worry about. Alaji is well qualified for this position.
Okay. Banka, he will respond to you before you leave.
I must admit, Banka is very good in arguing. I think he should go study law or something. But the point is, this is not about me. I keep emphasizing that, man, I don't have a worry. I have not done anything wrong to make me to fear appearing before this commission. I'm a victim. You know, but the point is, Banka, in spite of all your nice arguments, and I must say you laid them very well, you keep saying, if Alhaji Barrow can check his attitude, if he can check his arrogance, if he can check this, where is the assurance that these things will be in place? And in justice, I'm not a lawyer, but one of the cardinal principles is that those who are in the judicial position must be seen to be fit and proper and free of bias and prejudice. Now you are putting ifs to all of that. Why do we have to take the risk for one person to imperil the faith? To imperil, let me land, Banka, let me land. I allowed you to land. Excuse me, 1 minute. Why do we have to take that risk to imperil the fate of hundreds, perhaps thousands of alleged victims who want a free, fair, and proper platform to put up their case, seek closure, redress, perhaps compensation?
I would put those, because you see, okay, but Momodu, what you have to also understand is that with the nature of our situation, literally everyone in the country being a victim of
that's not right. That's not right. Everybody is not. Omar Wali is not a victim.
Let me finish.
Yes.
Even though you were yourself an enabler, you became a victim along the way of Jammehs. So literally,
I was a positive enabler. I enabled scholarships for young people and freed people from prison. Yes, proud of it.
Let me finish.
Yes.
But let me finish. Everybody literally in that country is a victim.
Everybody is not a victim. I disagree with you totally.
Let me finish. If anybody is going to be appointed for that role, you literally have to make sure that you remind them of their fiduciary duty to make sure that they conduct themselves in the manner that is not going to compromise the process. Because the feelings, the emotional feelings, the history, and obviously the abuse that took place is all raw still, and it's all there. We have to be cognizant of that fact. So if I were to sit down across the table with Baba Gale when he was being hired, I would tell him, Baba, if you can put your feelings aside about Jammeh, if you can then you will do a marvelous job. Those ifs will always be there for any Gambian that is going to be hired for this job. And it obviously it will depend on which Gambian you are addressing and what some of the issues that you think could be of concern to you. So that's why I'm putting those ifs there. But it has nothing to do with really the fact that he has on paper and in fact in his history, job history, the capabilities and the qualifications to do his job as professionally as it needs to be done.
Okay, Banka, before you leave, he wants to respond.
Brilliant argument again, but you are emphasizing everybody is a victim. So if we say we are excluding victims from the platform, we will not have people. Omar Wali is not a victim. But in Alhaji's case, he's not actually a victim. Alhaji Barrow is a villain of what happened in the past regime. He took guns, came out here, terrorized people in the hospital. They mounted a gun right in front of the RBTV and kept patients hostage. So now I'm talking about a victim. Why are we appointing a villain as a director of investigation?
No. But see, that's where I fundamentally disagree with you. You see, when you started describing scenes like that, obviously, one, it didn't happen like that. And number two,
it happened like that. Tell me what happened.
I think I have to intervene here. Banka, I'll give you a final chance to respond, and I get Sabal and we close this thing off. Yes, Banka, can you allow him to finish?
I will.
Banka, carry on.
I will.
Just be precise.
Okay. Yeah, but all I'm saying is the scenes that Momodu Sabal is describing, it seems he's kind of dramatizing this sort of situation in a fashion that it did not happen.
Like you are
in a way that let me finish. The fact of the matter is, Alhaji Barrow is a victim because his mother was literally grabbed and taken away, and all the things that happened over there, you know them and I know it. So let's not, the idea that he was not a victim is totally wrong. He was a victim because his mom was taken away.
He terrorized the whole country one night. We could not sleep myself.
Let me land. And number one, when the only person responsible for December 30th is Yaya Jammeh, because because of Yaya Jammeh's tyranny.
That, man.
I don't want this thing to turn into Banka.
The only reason
why you
why
guys cannot be fair in this investigation.
Banka,
you attack somebody and you call him a villain.
If Yaya Jammeh did not behave the way he did, then there would have been no December 30th. The only reason why we had December 30th is because Yaya Jammeh decided to terrorize Gambian people. Yaya Jammeh was our Osama bin Laden. He was a terrorist. He was evil. He was doing things that were totally not humane. They were wrong, and it was our responsibility as citizens of that country to rise against him and making sure that we deliver our country to where it needed to go. That was the only reason for December 30th. And to make it sound like somehow that Yaya was the victim here.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that the Gambians were the victims who came and terrorized us against our will.
I have to intervene here, and
I disagree with you on that.
Okay,
this debate will continue. At least you were brave enough to come here and talk to me. I appreciate that.
Banka, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
So, finally, before we wrap up here,
you seem to be on their side.
I'm not on their side. I have a report. I have a report to do for BBC. The message is here, so I'm running.
You better be fair in your report.
The report is here, so BBC asked me to send a report. So I have to wrap up for this one. Good. So, in the event that they did not respond to your claims as a politician, what next for you?
I would have exercised my civic duty as a citizen in this country at a very delicate time. Like I used a metaphor that Baba Gale Jallow used when he criticized Halifa Sallah for not accepting a job in Yaya Jammeh's AFPRC regime 94. He said the Gambia was an egg on the rocks, so Halifa had to take that and take part. So me, I see this transitional ship that's being tainted, and there are icebergs on the way. We are likely to hit the rocks. I'm a citizen. I've been quiet. Now I said it's getting too much. Let me get up and speak. I have done my bit. I've submitted a petition to Baba Gale Jallow. If he decides not to respond, which is likely, fair and square, I am on the record. I don't want Gambians to blame me again. This is transitional justice period. Let's do the right thing for the future. It's nothing personal.
The comments or what the people are saying, they said you are worried. Are your hands clean?
Ahmad Wali, you know me better. I have worked with you. If I am somebody who would do anything bad to any person, you know it. If I am worried, maybe I would have gone to Equatorial Guinea. I'm here, Mamadou Sabally, hands clean. I can't even wait for this transit. In fact, I should go for compensation. I'm a victim.
How are you?
Yeah, I was incarcerated once, twice, thrice. I was jailed December 2016 for broadcasting opposition nomination. I did that for my country, and I was jailed for it. You didn't even write a letter to me to say I'm sorry.
Me?
Yes.
But I visited you when you were...
No, I didn't see you. You only came when I was released.
I don't have access. No, listen, now this is what happened.
And you, the media, the media, you need to be very careful.
We'll be careful.
History is watching.
History, okay.
It looks like 90% of Gambians are caged now. People are afraid to talk. I don't know what's going on in this country.
You know me. Listen, you said I don't write letter. When Junglers went for you, who did they call?
Yes, you should tell that story.
No. You said I did not.
You are so biased. You are reminding me of things I did. Why didn't you tell that story so that people know that I am a victim?
You are a victim. Junglers went to finish this man the day Jammeh is supposed to leave this country. The wife called me and said, if you don't help this man, they'll finish. I had to call foreign embassies and so many people to try to hide him somewhere until Jammeh leaves this country. To your
credit, on a serious note, personally, you've been really supportive. But I'm saying the media as a platform, and I must give credit to Fatu Network for bringing opposing views on this issue. There's a particular network that decided to go one-sided, and we'll call them out. But I'm really concerned about the silence of the media as well. Let's create this. Is it not beautiful how I debated Banka, even though my brother ran away? Let's create these platforms on a mutually respectable basis and debate issues. I mean, whoever wins is democracy, but let us speak out. That's the least we can do for this country.
And that's what they are doing. We want people to be dialectical. That's why I brought you here, and I would have loved to have two of you on the chief seat.
Who is the other guy?
Name him. Baba Gale. That's what he was here, but it wasn't possible.
Right,
so finally, what do you have?
I just want to say to Gambians and the Gambia, I'm a politician, I know that. What I'm doing about this TRRC, it's not on a political platform. I am exercising my civic right and duty as a citizen. I am not saying Alaji Barrow or Banka Mane or any other person who had problems with Yaya Jammeh should not have a job in New Gambia. Far from it. Mamburenjai was appointed here minister. Tangara, I was with them in cabinet. They served Yaya Jammeh longer than me. I never made any noise. They are not in any judicial position. But you cannot bring somebody who tried to kill members of the former government to come and investigate those people for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And it's not about me or Alaji Barrow. I'm speaking for the victims. They deserve a free, fair, impeccable platform in the name of Allah, in the name of peace and progress for this country.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
That is Mamadou Sabally, former Secretary General, who is challenging the appointment of Alaji Barrow into the TRRC as the head of research and investigation. I had Baba Gale, Karamba Toure, and Banka Mane. So viewers, that's all I have for you today from me and my team. Thank you so much. It was a heated debate.
Great things comes on your way at the right time. As Tobaski signals, APS International introduces APS Tobaski Bonanza. APS Tobaski Bonanza from the 1st to the 17th of August 2018. 5 big rams to be won by 5 lucky winners. Or cash power to be won, mobile credits as well to be won. All you need to do is send money, mobile credits, cash power, or use our famous Nuga service so that your beneficiaries could be part of the lucky winners of the Tobaski Rams. I said Tobaski Ram. Yes, we mean Tobaski Ram. It's so simple and great from APS International. You can follow APS Facebook page or call 0121643303. Damane, li dafa neex de hari Tobaski kenn duma ko netali maa ngi ni di jëfoo APS International because who does it better? You can judge now. APS International, simply the best.
This Tobaski MoneyGram is giving back to your community. MoneyGram Money Transfer is giving out 10 rams in 10 days to those who really need it. Who do you think should get a free MoneyGram ram? Is it a family? An orphanage? A community center? Hospital? Just send us a short 10-second video with the hashtag MoneyGramRam by posting it on the comment section below or sending it to GETV, BNL, or the Fatu Network. But don't forget the hashtag MoneyGramRam. 10 rams, 10 days. Send in your videos now so you can help others through MoneyGram. Happy Tobaski from MoneyGram. MoneyGram, bringing you closer.
This is powered by MoneyGram and its agents in the Gambia.